Yes, welcome to another interesting edition of the industry. You know what we do on the industry? This is where we talk about everything media. We talk about the industry. We are concerned about the betterment of our industry. So that's where you see that what we do on Primus is all about the media industry, the media space, starting from the big city of Ibadan to your state and Nigeria. The third edition of the industry today, I have with me the general manager of Melody 100.7 FM Ibadan, and he's in the game. He has been in the game right from way back. I know him too well, even on television. So I think he's right to talk about what we want to discuss today, both the broadcast as a whole, radio and television. So I welcome to your screen, Mr. Eniola Afolabi. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. I must say, Primus, you guys are doing great. You guys are doing fine. You have contributed in no small way to the development of a broadcast industry in Nigeria. Most importantly, in Oyo State.
Thank you so much.
So
sir.
Good to be here.
Thank you so much. Sir. It's nice having you here. Yes, want to talk about something very, that matters, something that really matter, and we want to talk about the traditional broadcast bending to digitalization. And you know, at some point, some people opine it shouldn't be, that it is downgrading the professionalism and also downgrading the identity of the radio space. In a nutshell, what do you make of this, your own view?
Well, it depends on how you want to see it. If you trace back the history of broadcasting, you agree with me that it keep evolving. So digital inclusion is another evolution in the media industry, by extension the broadcaster industry. So and it will keep having we'll keep having evolution of the industry. So for me, whosoever that believes evolution should not happen or should not occur, whether digital or other part of it, then that means the person doesn't really know about the industry or does not really want progress for the industry. For me, digital inclusion is necessary in the broadcast industry. There's no way we can. So the world is evolving, and the media space too cannot be left behind.
Okay, to you now is progress.
Yeah, definitely, it's progress.
But to some, it looks as if you are going beyond the standard of professionalism. Let me use for example, a typical example of live streaming. I can remember back then, and when some broadcasters believe that why will you stream live a radio program that is not professional enough, that also it belittle the essence of broadcasting, in quotes, the radio space, that belittle the essence of the radio space. So why should you? So don't you think you might call it progress, but I think to some it is bastardization of the work.
It's somewhat. Let me say it this way: anyone that feels live streaming or digital inclusion into the broadcast industry, radio precisely, is not necessary, or is derailing the focus or the for the industry, then that means the person is perhaps afraid of the change, of catching up with the change, which is very, very necessary. You know, sometimes when you cannot keep up, when you cannot keep up with the pace of development, you tend to run it down. That's the way I see it. Yeah. You know, there are so many things we see in the industry, that for me is completely untrue. You know, I've heard so many things, especially about the saying that the industry has been bastardized. The industry, it was not like this when we started. One question I keep asking is that who made the rule for broadcasting?
Okay.
You know, in Nigeria, if you trace back the history, the founders of media industry tends to follow the BBC method. And if you go to Britain today, the question you should ask yourself is that even that BBC, is it the benchmark for radio in UK? No. BBC is government funded. They don't run adverts. They don't, is public funded, let me say.
Okay.
They don't run adverts. There's limits to the programming they do. Are you now saying we should keep following that trend? You know, or do you still want radio to be pre-1992 when our government alone was running media organization in Nigeria? Remember, it was in 1992, August precisely, that the law, the decree setting up radio stations was repealed and private organizations were allowed to own radio. Are we saying that we should go back to pre-1992? No, the answer is no for me. So the point of saying that, or the question of digitalization has even come to stay. Even the BBC that we are talking about, they are evolving. If you go to their studio today, everything is digitized. Most of their studio use acoustic glass. They don't even use padded studio any longer. It's acoustic glass, which is the latest technology in studio construction. So if BBC, despite being a public funded, can be evolving digitally, and how much more radio stations that are privately owned or that are not owned by government. So there's no way you can exclude digital in radio development.
Okay, but what happened to the saying when you hear people say, I want G and bang. Sorry, I want G and bang. But radio now, where it's just faji, maybe because of the ease. You know, at some point too, it is a reality that digitalization brings ease, and maybe because of the ease we are experiencing these days, so they believe we've damaged the ethics of the work. And also, if we are experiencing ease, do you believe ìrọ̀rùn díẹ̀ wà tó kò sí much work, kò sí iṣẹ́ ń bẹ̀ mọ́ nísìn. Anybody, just the way some people will say, anybody can be microphones anywhere and do anything.
You know that for me, there is no superiority in generation as far as I'm concerned. And the point Simon gbìyànjú àti sọ on this particular issue ni wípé àwọn tó ń sọ pé àwọn ti jìyà jíṣẹ́ èrè lẹ́yìn ṣe ń sìn, you know, ask those people, ṣé mọ́tò tí wọ́n ń gùn nígbà yẹn ṣó náà ni wọ́n ń gùn sí? Ṣé manual car tí wọ́n most of them wà nígbà yẹn
ayé ti dayọ̀ automatic?
Wọ́n ṣe sọ pé nítorí wípé ayé ti dọ̀yẹ́ ọ̀làjú pé àwọn sì believe nínú
manual
old style of doing things, wípé káwọn náà máa lo kọ́ máa wà automatic, kan ní mi ìfẹ́, kan ní manual àwọn fẹ́. You know, one of the problems that we tend to narrow it down to a particular sector because of our selfish interests. You know, and for me, so there's no competition in generation. For you now to say, nígbà tiwa, like, you know, my own belief, ni wípé apologies to the veterans and sincere apology. We learn from them. But the fact that we learn from them does not mean we can't do it better than them.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is many of them, were in broadcasting láyé ìgbà tí rédíò ju bíi mẹ́ta mẹ́rin lọ. So whether good or bad, their content, listeners are condemned to listen to their content. There was little or no competition at that time. So if you are talking about professionalism at that time, what about the competition now? Most of them, they may not be able to cope with the present day competition. Or do you think it is easy to have 40 radio stations in Ibadan, about 70 radio stations in Lagos, and you are still producing content that resonates with larger percentage of people?
Now, is not that competition that's not the problem now? Torí pé competition yẹn ti pọ̀ jù. That's why we are now losing the identity of
who created
radio.
The identity?
The standard that has been on
Who
ground.
created the standard?
Of course, human.
That's the question. Is it a rigid standard, or is it a rigid design that nobody can alter or nobody can develop?
But it has to be altered professionally, maybe coming together of...
See, as far as I'm concerned, in Nigeria today, and that's why I actually started with the example of BBC. And let me break it down this way. Okay. Now, àwọn tí a bá broadcasting lọ́wọ́ wọn, they are BBC trained.
Okay.
Most of them are BBC trained. I don't want to mention names now, but most of them are BBC trained. So the idea, the concept of radio that they have in their head was BBC inclined.
Okay.
But I've asked you a question. Pé ṣé tá bá lọ sí UK lónìí, ṣé BBC standard yẹn the gbogbo UK ń follow? No. If despite the fact that BBC themselves are doing what they are evolving. Now they have several radio stations under their belt. They have BBC Sports, BBC Africa, BBC Asia, BBC Hausa Service.
Hausa, Yoruba.
So why can't they retain the old format of saying this is where we are going, rigid approach? Why? They are evolving, despite the fact that even in the whole of UK, all the radio stations are not following BBC standard. As far as I'm concerned, the only body empowered by law in Nigeria to set standard for broadcasting is NBC. That's the National Broadcasting Commission. And every of your concept, every of your idea, as long as it doesn't contravene NBC code, then you are good. Whatever you bring into it, I mean, it's your idea to stay afloat in a competitive industry. So for some group of people saying, oh, this was not the way we started it, I don't believe in that. It's just like saying people coming after some of us, cannot do it better than us. Some of them will do it better. Some will not be able to meet up. There was let me give this example too. When computer was coming in, before the advent of computer, most offices, they use typewriter.
Of course.
So, Imperial, later they introduced electric typewriter. Still, you have to press, but a little easier. But when computer came in, many people find it difficult to cope. Many people lost their job. But that was an opportunity for others to get job because they trained themselves. So, It's just like saying computers should not be introduced into secretarial job at that time. We are joking. So what I'm actually saying is that once we have NBC setting the standard and the rules rather, and what we are doing does not contravene the rules set by the NBC, then every other thing is inconsequential as far as I am concerned. Where we have gotten broadcasting to today, the next generation will pick it up from there and still advance it. We have the advent of AI now. Some of us are using AI tools, but AI is still not prominent. In few years' time, AI will take over completely. It's just like now saying, when that time comes, now saying that, well, during our own time, we use our voice. We do voiceover on our own. You, all these lazy people that are now using AI to do voiceover and the rest. Forgetting that to even use AI, it requires high level of skills. You can't call a roadside person to come and make use of AI.
To prompt AI.
You must learn it. You must not just learn, you must be intelligent to be able to apply it through the right prompt. Because if you don't give the right prompt, you can't get the right result. So it will keep evolving. And that's why some of us, are already keen into, projecting into the future of broadcasting and keen into it at this time, so that as long as we are around, we are not going to be left out. I do research every day. And if you ask me, I know if not all, most of the technologies applicable to my industry, which is the media industry. I can tell you the latest camera, as we speak now, just last month was an international broadcast conference in Holland, where most of the broadcast equipment that will get into the market next year are displayed.
Right.
I follow it all at, and that's how I do every year, so that I will see lot of development, and I will be able, those ones that I'm able to afford, I afford it, and those ones that I will need to learn, I learn. So somebody cannot just sit there in the comfort of his home and say, rubbish no one ṣe nígbà ayé tiwa. In fact, a sọnù studio ni nígbà tí wọ́n sọnù studio nígbà ayé tí, and must the present generation sleep in the studio?
Is it like people you want to do or let me say let me say we want to do radio now, because and it be the last part or seeing pay but I was in the studio and all of that. Lara maybe one of the problem or one of the question I also want to ask, that is it because of they suffered and they are not seeing you suffering, or you believe they only thought we are not suffering, like this generation of broadcasters, they only thought, those veterans, those Baba only believe that we are not suffering, or you also believe that of course we are not suffering in the industry, because many of them claimed that because they suffered for the job, they suffered for this industry, so that's why you are now enjoying the ease, and you are now bastardizing the ease that comes from
yes
it.
I get that part, and to be honest, it's part of it. And ele can't come on gun, not on freelance presenters and the people they train. When I came into the broadcast industry, personally, well, because it's not a personality interview, I don't want to talk about my personal experience. But maybe in the nearest future, when the opportunity comes for that,
You can give us a quick summary too.
yeah. For example, my first appearance on BCS was way back 2003, and I would trek from Challenge to Bashono to and fro,
Oh,
because I want to appear on BCS. You know, big kudos to my boss, Femi Okenla. You know, before he now said, okay, why can't you come and stay with me instead of going that long distance? So, but I've made up my mind. That time, I see it as my own sacrifice. So, but I've told myself that anybody that goes through me on this job to learn, I will make sure that that person does not pass through or go through what I went through learning this. And everybody that passed through me will attest to the fact that I made their path easier. You know, I'm a spiritual person in a way. Sometimes some people are forerunners. You know, they are the one. Yesterday, I was reading about Ben Gurion, of David Ben Gurion of Israel. Is regarded as a father of modern Israel. You know, their main international airport is named after him. And I read about all that he did. You know, when the whole place called Tel Aviv, Haifa today, are all desert. He was the one tilling the ground, and setting the pace for the development. You know, everybody in the world has a role. God that put you in that particular role at that time knows that you have the capability to do it. That's why I put you there. So, and the fact that you have done your own bit, you have created a path. Where I am today, some people created a path. When I got there, I am also creating my own path. And I'm not creating my path because I want it to be difficult for those people that are coming after me. I'm creating the path to make it easier, a lot easier for those that will come. So that they too, the thing will keep developing. But when you have a mindset that, because I used to sit on the floor to write script, the person you are training now, or that is a staff under you, must also go through that system.
Well, I have to travel down to write a report. The report you can now sit down and browse through your internet to get.
You know, those that works with me, they know what I'm saying. This is a public space. I'm not saying I'm not calling myself who I am not. As much as possible, I make the job easier for you, because the whole essence is productivity. And when the job is not easy for you, there's no way you can be productive. There are so many things I don't want to talk about on here, which I have done or I'm still doing, where I'm managing to make it easier for the staff there to work. So, but about in the mentality, we pay because I went through rigor.
Hell.
There's a difference between rigor and trouble. And like I said, our freelance presenters. And that's why many of them, so so they will now pass it. So it's now becoming generation to generation, and it's now stunting growth.
Yes. Now, I think I saw that, and I think I've also questioned that before. The generation of 10 will tell you that Ojuwari, at that period, and at that period, town on suffer. They will claim, I know about the Jekori Befam, you is not good, it's not the best. But at the long run, in town go and she buy, found generation is saying, tí wọ́n gan ju èyí tí wọ́n rí lọ́dọ̀ àwọn bàbá yẹn.
Ó pín sí méjì, we must not get it wrong. Ìkíní ni wípé self-created problems or challenges, or create artificial, that's the correct word I'm looking for, artificial challenges. Then the natural one. Normally, in téèyàn ò bá labor fún, tí ó jìyà fún, kì í pẹ́ lọ́wọ́ èèyàn. So normally èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ as an individual tó fẹ́ dàgbà, not just in the broadcast industry, anywhere, o gbọ́dọ̀ ní àwọn ìrírí kan téèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ pass through kéèyàn tó lè gòkè. So it's not that pé tó bá ti débẹ̀ àwọn challenges kan gbọ́dọ̀ wà tó yẹ pé torí inú ká máa find the solutions sí challenges yẹn òun ló mú progress wá, òun ló mú growth wá. So those ones are natural developmental curve. But àwọn eléyìí tèmi ń sọ ni pé àwọn eléyìí tó yẹ pé artificial one tó yẹ pé bí kí n kàn sọ bí kí n ní oore ọ̀fẹ́ for example nsìn o lọ sí mo rán reporter jáde wípé kó lọ cover event bóyá Èkó Abuja nǹkan kan ó wá cover event yẹn tán, so na ó lè kọ script yẹn kó send it through WhatsApp sí mi tàbí email, even kó attach video rẹ̀ kí wọ́n á ní dandan
àbí kó mú wá,
ó gbọ́dọ̀ mú wá pé mo fẹ́ rí script yẹn báyìí kó kọ sínú ìwé kó wá submit ẹ̀ fún mi. mo mọ̀ ní lára ni. So because it doesn't change anything tó bá send it through WhatsApp tí mo dey correct
so they attach gbogbo evidences,
they attach everything kí wọ́n á ní dandan because nígbà yẹn ti wá àwa máa ń àwọn mú script á kọ́ ni tá kọ script yẹn ọwọ́ la fi kọ́ tó yẹ pé ìkọ̀kan báyìí wọ́n máa sákù rẹ̀ báyìí ni. Why must you do that? So àwọn irú nǹkan tẹ́mi mean by artificial challenges nìyẹn. So normally irú ẹni tó lọ cover event yẹn gbogbo tójú ẹ̀ bá rí ń bẹ̀ ó ti mọ̀ pé ara iṣẹ́ ni ara ẹ̀kọ́ tóun ó kọ́ kóun ò fi lè dókè ni, but not the artificial one created which is common láàrin àwọn ọ̀gá kan. Ara ẹ̀ náà ló dẹ̀ máa ń fà pé nígbà ayé tiwa radio announcer yóò ti sọ next program yóò ti which rule ta ló ṣe òfin pé dandan bó ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ máa rí nìyẹn títí ayé.
But we don't have radio announcers again.
Yeah, why must we have it? If we must have it, why can't we have it in another way? I've worked in a radio station as the head of programs where our program announcements, we made it pre-recorded. It's an innovation.
But back then, the announcer must be on seat, must be on ground.
Yes. You can give 1001 reasons why the announcer must be in the studio. And I can also give 1,000,001 reasons why the announcer must not be there, and I can pre-record it. Yes. So it's part of evolution. So we must not have such mindset.
Digitalization is diminishing.
Such mindset will not bring progress in the industry. So then another mindset that gbọ́dọ̀ máa ní ni wípé generation wa better generation kan. What tells you wípé tó bá fall sí second generation yẹn wọ́n gan lè cope? You know, that's the truth. Many of let me now mention names. There's a radio station that I would not want to mention, but there are presenters on that radio station. Olalomi Amole, Komolafe Olaiya.
Okay.
These are presenters that have been around for more than 40 years, close to 50 years.
Yes.
Another name is Boye Galawa. Kí ló dé tó ṣe jẹ́ pé láti gbà yẹn, over 40 years ago yẹn, they are still relevant. Why tí àwọn yẹn ò fi máa complain pé nígbà ayé tiwa rádaràda lè ṣe yìí. But bí generation yẹn ṣe ń wá ni wọ́n keep up títí di sí. And that's why it's still difficult for the younger generation to push them aside, because àwọn ní advantage ìrírí tí wọ́n ti rí. Mo máa ń sọ, I pride myself as an experienced person in the industry, not because ọdún tí mo ti lò pọ̀ bẹ́yẹn náà, ṣùgbọ́n èmi ní orí ọ̀fẹ́ at the time I came into broadcasting was ìgbà tí analog in wind down. So I had the experience of the analog and I had the experience of the
Digitalization.
digital. Like for example, for those that remember, I was in BSWS láyé ìgbà tí BSWS máa ń tó pákó papọ̀ fi ṣe backdrop. tó yẹ pé ìgbà míì ìhò máa wà láàrin pákó báyìí tẹ́mọ̀ rí, you know. Yes, ìgbà tí chroma tó dẹ̀ dé.
Tí aṣọ green.
Yeah.
Ti good to go.
Yeah, mo ṣètò bá, you know, that's the first line of studio, digital studio. So later to evolve, see camera design flex. So I was still there. I was still part of the system. Later it evolved again to virtual studio, which we have now, which is still an advanced version of chroma. Still green background, blue background, and the rest, but it's
an advancement.
It's an advancement, which is 3D now. For chroma, it wasn't 3D, but for virtual studio, it's 3D. So now, you know, it's just like saying, nígbà tí mi dé BSWS nígbà yẹn, táwa kéré, wọ́n máa ní ká lọ tó pákó jọ ni. Must we tó pákó jọ? That's the question we should ask ourselves. So, but torí wípé a máa ń fẹ́ take pride nínú generation as if it's better than others. That's why some of us in our generation would think àwọn tá a bá ń bẹ̀ pé we are better than them. Yes, ìgbà wa làwa ń ṣe, ìgbà tí wọ́n làwọn ń ṣe. So, tó bá tún yá àwọn tó ń bọ̀ náà, àwọn tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn wa, generation míì tó ti wà lẹ́yìn tìrú àwa báyìí. So àwọn náà ń ṣe gbà wọn. Tó bá tún yá, òǹkálùkù máa ṣe gbà rẹ̀.
But still maintaining professionalism.
Yes. And kí ni professionalism tó wà ń bẹ̀? Mo ti sọ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀, MPC code ni. As long as tí n tẹ́ ń ṣe ò bá ti tako MPC, any other professionalism talk is irrelevant.
Any creativity,
you can, as far as I'm concerned, you can put it into it.
You know, we now have wireless studio, now radio studio. Is it wireless? Yes, wireless. That you don't need all these microphones any longer.
Of course,
set up and all of
of course. Come to Melody FM studio. We brought a lot of creativity into it. Permit me to also mention names of radio stations that I think
go ahead, sir.
Well,
go ahead.
If you check out, Niger Info.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I mean, if you check their studio, àwọn ò lo conventional condenser mic. They use table like conference microphone. Condenser conference microphone is an innovation. You know, stations are set up streaming with PTZ. You guys are having PTZ here too. So, which means digital transfer yìí ó tún ti ní grade.
It's ní grade.
Around àṣírí àwọn radio stations tó yẹ pé wọ́n lo webcam.
Yes, so we still
Yes, there are many. So àdè láwọn tó jẹ́ wípé they are using PTZ. So, and for our, like Melody now, I ensure our own is still a modern camera, POV camera. Yes. Which is slightly different from PTZ.
Okay.
So, okay.
Do you have any problem with young ones becoming general manager of radio stations now or broadcast stations? Now, when I say young ones, I don't want to give you age brackets, but when I say young ones, I believe, okay, let me put it like this. I know for some people, they believe you are also young, and some people believe you should not have gotten to that post yet. And aside you are still even, when I say young, you are old young. So, but we have some young ones that are doing well in the space, and they're now becoming general manager of radio stations, and it's becoming a problem to some maybe media practitioners. So that maybe one of the way we are bastardizing this thing also is because we are welcoming some young minds to become GM. When you have old ones that experience radio in the 60s, in the 70s, and like that. What do you have to make of that?
Ọ̀nà méjì ni mo fi wò.
Okay.
Àwọn àgbàlagbà ní ajá òwòyí ló mú ehoro òwòyí lé. That's one. I don't have problem with young general managers, but I have problem with young inexperienced general managers.
Okay.
You can be young and be experienced. And you can be young and completely inexperienced. That's what I have problems with. Even for NBC, the minimum years of experience is 10 years. So it is expected to practice for 10 years, at least, or at any significant level of experience. Is
there a way to measure the 10 years, or is based on whatever years the person tells you, okay, I've been on this job since this year, since this year I've been on this job? Or maybe there is a way they measure
your first employment.
Okay.
Your first employment.
But we have people that will tell you within she radio but láti 2000 within she radio but maybe Ọlọ́run kan nìkan rí mi ní 2005.
Ara issues.
So 2005 tí wọ́n rí mi lẹ́yìn rò pé mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bí 20 years ago.
Ara issues tó wà ńbẹ̀ nìyẹn. See, to be honest, instead of addressing group of people, we should rather address personalities or the people involved in the anomalies. And anomalies were peculiar to any generation.
Okay.
Is bad people is not or lazy people is not peculiar with a particular generation. It cut across. So, like let me digress a bit. Months of wípé tabaniha ayé ti bàjẹ́. I tell people ayé kankan ò bàjẹ́. Báyé ṣe wà láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ló ṣe wà. Nígbà ayé ti wá kíní kan ayé kankan ò bàjẹ́.
Wọ́n kì í wọ ṣòkòtò ń gbà yẹn sá.
They wear it. Go and check videos of
but òfin náà máa ń wọ̀ ń gbà yẹn sá.
Go and they wear it. That's the kind of ṣòkòtò tán wọ̀ ń gbà yẹn. Fabric tán fi ń ṣe ṣòkòtò yẹn òun ló yàtọ̀.
Kò sí miniskirt ń gbà yẹn sá.
Miniskirt wà. Ó lékù. What is ó lékù? See, in tó yàtọ̀ generation to generation.
So there's nothing new.
There's nothing.
It's just an advancement.
An advancement and frequency.
Okay.
Because ní ìgbà tẹ́ ń sọ yẹn, mélòó ni gbogbo population Ìbàdàn? So out of 12, tẹ́ bá ní Judas ẹyọ kan, that means pé possibility of having 2 Judas in 24. So possibility of having mass for 12 times 3.
But your mass grew me for what?
So, because then tí nǹkan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Abuja under 1 minute, ẹ ti mọ̀ everywhere in the world. Torí ayé ti lu jára wọn. Unlike before, tó jẹ́ pé tí nǹkan kan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ní agboolé kan, ẹ lè dọwọ́ bò tó jẹ́ pé àwọn tó wà ládùúgbò mi gan-an wọ́n lè má gbọ́.
And then before tó jẹ́ pé they have wọ́n á gbé newspaper wá báyìí nínú studio.
Exactly.
Kẹ́tó lásẹ̀ sí rí ìròyìn.
Exactly. But now bó ṣe ń break lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́.
Ó ti rí.
Ẹ ti rí. So in tó yàtọ̀ nìyẹn kì í ṣe ìwà burúkú ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́. 80s kọ́ ni àwọn anínini.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
ok kí ni ìyàtọ̀ láàrin àwọn Monday Ọ̀ṣunbọ̀ àti Evans the kidnapper. Ìyàtọ̀ ni wípé ìbọn tán ń lò ń gbà yẹn ó yàtọ̀ sí sophisticated wọn ìgbà yẹn ni wọ́n ń lò ń gbà yẹn sophisticated wọn sì òní àwọn tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ sọ pé banditry ń sìn kò sí banditry ń gbà yẹn. Sùnmọ̀mí is not a new word nínú lexicon Yorùbá. Tọ́ba ní wọ́n ti ń gbé sùnmọ̀mí ṣùgbọ́n level tí wọ́n fi ń gbé sùnmọ̀mí gbà yẹn yàtọ̀ sísìn.
So wàhálà broadcasting
so
tán ní rí ẹ lọ́wọ́ báyìí ó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀
náà ni ó kàn evolve sí ni bó ṣe wà nìyẹn.
báwọn kan wá wò pé digitalization ló fà á.
no òǹkálùkù bí mo ṣe sọ wọn òǹkálùkù ń fẹ́ brag pé nígbà ayé tiwa whereas is a lie, is a complete lie, my brother, is a complete lie. There is absolutely nothing new. Wọ́n kàn ń fi kún yọkù. So that's just not to lose track of where I was actually coming from. The point ni wípé àwọn tá à ń pè ní ọmọdé yìí àwọn tí ó wà inexperienced nínú wọn ò ní, because administration of a radio station or even any organization is not a child's play. Èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ ní emotional intelligence. O gbọ́dọ̀ ní experience. Ó ní àwọn àgbàlagbà fi máa ń sọ pé ìrírí lágbà. It matters a lot. Àwọn position kan wà tó jẹ́ pé talent máa gbé ẹ débẹ̀. Àwọn position kan dẹ̀ wà tó jẹ́ pé ìrírí rẹ àti máa ṣe bọ̀ rẹ òní ó ní wàá rí ló ń bẹ̀. So ẹ ti rí pé ó ti pé méjì bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. So àwọn tí a pè ní àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké yìí ṣé wọ́n ní ìrírí? Èèyàn lè jọmọdé kó ní ìrírí, èèyàn sì lè jọmọdé kó má tó, and kì í ṣe pé torí pé èèyàn dàgbà. Like I used to say, àwọn tá à ń pè ní veteran. I'm not in any way criticizing. There are fantastic ones. Mo dẹ̀ lè mention names who are accomplished presenters and transformed successfully into media management, and they did exceptionally well. Oh. I mean, one of our model in the industry, Yajo Adebite, even when he was being criticized in Bayen, well, maybe this is business stuff. Let me not say it openly. Kilomo Kinekan, he was a radio DJ. Kinekan, he was. Some of us said no. The innovation this man is bringing. This you are still viewing him from the perspective of what you think you know, yeah. But he has gone far. He has done what you are not doing. So it's not a question of we have young people running major companies and are doing well, but are they trained? Are they experienced enough to handle that position? That's what we should be talking about. And by the round to wa experienced and well trained, rí nínú ṣe sí wọn, rí nínú results tán bring. Àwọn tí ó dẹ̀ ṣe kíni, àwọn tí ó were trained and experienced, rí nínú output wọn náà. So ìyàtọ̀ tèmi rò pé wà ńbẹ̀ nìyẹn. Just like you said, my first major managerial role was at Metropolitan Broadcasting Services. So I was made the manager operations of IATV, invariably the head of IATV. And I was like, and you know, in MBS management team, I was the youngest. Wow. But meeting mo jẹ́ youngest yìí, mo ti gbẹ́nu lé 40 as at that time, and you're still calling me young. This is me that have held position as the head in one or two departments. So, and I've demonstrated, but the owner said, no, he wanted me. And I did my best, and till I'm talking to you now, my legacies are still there. And people that we work together. But I have a mentor too, who also put me through a lot. And it's not out of place for me to also credit Femi Ekpadiola for helping me to also grow. So it's not a question of age. You know, even in banking industry, to bá ti dé certain age, to bá ti cross the managerial level, one way or the other they will ease you out. Yes. So that's why they recruit early, because they want you to work efficiently and grow. So it's not a question of age, it's a question of competence and quality.
Okay. Thank you so much. Before we call it a wrap, this will be my last question on the show. So I put it to you now. What do you think is the problem that is affecting radio of now? If you believe it's not actually digitalization, what do you think is a problem? In another word, I'm saying you should give advice. Right?
I think the major problem from inside Temiri has to do with radio owners or media owners and consultants. Yes.
Consultant.
Consultant and radio owners. So most of the radio, I want to know, they are not media. They are media investors. So wọ́n fi bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ìrírí nípa media. So, and most of the consultants, most, underline the word most, they don't tell them the truth. They don't tell them the truth. They give them illusion about the industry. So, wá ń jẹ́ kí expectations go high, unnecessarily high. So now put pressure on the system. For example, you ask yourself, why will somebody spend multi-millions of naira to set up a radio station and now find it difficult to pay salary? And if you trace it back, kini peka. How do I mean? Many of these are consultants. Wọ́n lọ dánú fún wọn. Kini kan, lẹ́yìn oṣù mẹ́ta, ẹ máa make owó. Ṣé rí iye tí radio kini make ni? Forgetting pé kòkó ni. Radio or media generally, kòkó. You keep, or let me say Chinese bamboo. Chinese bamboo will take 7 years kó tó jáde inú ilẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ìjọ́ tó bá jáde báyìí, ọ̀sẹ̀ kejì àti ga tó 70 feet. So, nígbà tán bá wọn ṣe rédíò yẹn tán consult fún wọn tí wọ́n bọ́yọ̀ yẹ kan ra mixer kan ní 10 naira. Wọ́n ti gba 30 naira lọ́wọ́ ẹ nìyẹn. So
wọ́n tún ní ra standard one.
So kàtẹ́ ni wọ́n rà. So 20 naira tó kù yẹn ó yẹ kó lọ sí ibòmíì nínú project yẹn, bọ̀ kò ní lọ. Bóyá wọ́n tún wá fẹ́ ra transmitter, ó yẹ kán rà ní 100 naira. Wọ́n pè ní 400, bóyá èèyàn náà ó ná sí 300, wọ́n tún yọ 200 yẹn. So by the time tẹ́ni yẹn bá wá ṣe tán, yóò wá rògbò pé láti ìgbà tí project yìí ti ń bẹ̀rẹ̀, ẹ wá dúró owó tí mo ti ń ná. Ẹ tún wá máa ní every month màá tún wá máa san salary yín. Tẹ́ ẹ bá ti lè san salary yín fúnra yín, ẹ lọ máa yanjú ẹ̀. Because you have put unnecessary. And for those people that consulted me, like there was a lawyer from UK years ago that one of my boss, I want to train me, wọ́n mú pé tó bá jẹ́ pé rédíò ló fẹ́ ṣe rédíò, má worry, ẹni tí mo lè trust, mo mọ̀ pé lè bá share everything perfectly is Eniola. And they set up a meeting, and we held a meeting. And I said, and I gave a breakdown. Sir, ibi tẹ́ ń lọ ni, ṣé ready àti lọ? Abẹ́ ready àti lọ? If I want to, base it on my own money, I won't give him proper advice. Mama, okay, Sergeant Tanwole, but I told him point blank, I said, okay, let's start from the license. If you want to apply for the license, this is how much government will collect, but you are not sure of when it's going to come out. Yes. Or if you want to buy from
transfer ownership.
Yeah, transfer ownership, this is how much you are going to spend. Are you okay with it? If you are buying equipment, I sent to my partner in Italy, give us full list of and price of all the equipment.
But it takes billions of naira.
So, thousands of euro. So, thousands of euro. So, this is what it looks like. Are you ready for it? And what is your motive of even wanting to go into this?
The radio.
So, based on that, to be honest, anyhow, but mo analyze fún tán. Ọlọ́run ó lọ ṣe òun ọkọ òun kó padà wá. So I didn't feel bad. I would have felt bad if I had tricked him.
If you were not truthful.
Yeah, if I'm not truthful and I've tricked him into starting. So irú àwọn yẹn ó pọ̀ bẹ́yẹn ní industry. Wọ́n ti tàn wọlé. Tó yẹ pé ọ̀tọ̀ ni nǹkan tó sọ fún wọn when they were coming in.
The reality.
So ìyẹn ni wọ́n fi wá ń kanra mọ́ system. Ló ṣe di pé àwọn míì tí ó lè ní sùúrù ilé fi gbọ́ pé ẹ̀rí radio station míì tí ó fún àwọn staff ní target tí ó ní ó yá fún wọn ní monthly target ibẹ̀ láti rí
wọ́n sì gbà wọn fún marketing.
Yeah, tí ó dá rédíò lẹ̀ tí ó ná owó iyebíye láti fi dá rédíò lẹ̀ tí ó wà ní àwọn interns ní kẹgbà kan máa rọ̀ ní àbáwọn corpers. So we have that as a major problem. We also have training as a major problem. Training yàtọ̀ sí creativity.
Okay.
You are allowed to bring in creativity, but you must be trained. Especially, there are àwọn kankan wà tó yẹ pé àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà tó yẹ pé ò gbọ́dọ̀ sọ lórí rédíò. Àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ pé bó ṣe lè sọ bó yàtọ̀ bó ṣe. So many people tó ń come into it lónìí wọn ní orí ọ̀fẹ́ training yẹn tí irú àwàdẹ́ ní. So tó bá jẹ́ wípé irú yẹn ni I emphasize as the challenge in the industry, I agree. We have that training gap. So, and that's why kudos to an organization like Primus tó ń fún àwọn èèyàn ní opportunity láti
Thank you, sir.
learn one or two things in the industry. Yes, is good because ara ìṣòro tá a ní òun náà ni pé the former training ní industry, ní schools, you find out that pé gbogbo àwọn tí ó ń jẹ́ graduate ní mass comm kíníkan many of them tán bá dé field
they cannot practice. Many of them are not even practicing because they don't understand.
In fact, there's a private university tó lórúkọ tí mi ní fẹ́ dárúkọ. So 3 of their students wá fún IT lọ́dọ̀ wa sometimes ago. So okay, ṣe practical rí. They told me point blank pé and that private radio station has a studio, a radio, community radio, but àwọn mass communication students wọn kì í jẹ́ kán lọ studio. They only go there twice in a semester.
I understand that school perfectly well. Let me pretend.
So any community radio, so but you can't use it to train your student. Your
That
student
should be
goes
for
there.
students.
And this is not from just one or two person, no. It's like that. So because they may not to share what me. So that practical
I'm also
training.
confirming it.
Yes. That practical training is also a missing link. Tí a gbọ́dọ̀ wá orí ọ̀fẹ́. And about then sort of training, I'm not talking about training 18th century. Training, why you dig from the history, you must train for them to evolve. That is why tó jẹ́ pé lónìí gan tẹ́ bá ń ṣe physics, irú physics, chemistry tán ká wá ń gbà yẹn, what is chemistry, what is physics? You know, tá máa há sórí ń gbà yẹn. You know, in today's world, ṣé o make ṣó tiẹ̀ wà relevant? No, I'm not even talking about why must they ask you what is chemistry? Because physics, chemistry, gbogbo àwọn kìíní yẹn ti evolve ju first 20 element, kìíní kan element. So once you understand the basics,
you are good.
You are good to go. It's those basics that you will build on.
From the basics, you will know the definition of that.
Of course, not what is chemistry that will now be cramming.
Thank you so much. I think this is a convenient point for us to call it a day. And I believe if we should call you some other times, you definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming around. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This is the end of the industry, episode 3. Of course, subscribe to Primus Studios. Follow us on our social media platform at Primus Media City on Instagram, Primus Media City on Facebook, Primus Media City on X, so that you enjoy more of our content. You see media-centric content on Primus. Yes, thank you so much. Once again, I'm Israel Babalola.